Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today I'm going to give you 10 Middle Eastern cologne fragrances for the summertime. So let's jump into it. All right, so today we are talking cologne fragrances for the summertime from a bunch of Middle Eastern houses. We got some Lattafas, Rubroka, Armaf, a whole bunch of Middle Eastern brands here that are gonna have you smelling fantastic for a fraction of the price of your favorite designer and niche fragrances. So I'm gonna have links down in the description if you decide you wanna check any of these fragrances out, and let's just quit screwing around and let's get into it. All right, kicking things off, going to the house of Rubroka, and it's Rubroka's Theorem. Now this fragrance is a clone of Bulgari Tiger, and this is just an absolutely fantastic take on that scent DNA. Really bright, lively, zesty, and sweet styles of citrus at the top. Grapefruit, citrus peel, some ambroxan, amber, some musk, and some woods. Just a really nice, lively, energetic style of citrus. Really nice touch of sweetness that's in there, some ambroxan, and a little bit of warm amber that works in there, adding additional sweetness and just kind of warming this up just a tad, and some nice wood notes that are in the base. Performance on this, 6-7 hours, and the projection is moderate for about an hour and a half before it does settle back in. Just a beautiful, sweet, summery style of fragrance with those citruses and those added touches of the amber and woods in this. Just makes this a fantastic clone of Bulgari Tiger and definitely worth checking out. That's Rubroka's Theorem. Next up, going to the house of Lattafa with Lattafa Pride's Ishq Shayuk Silver. Now this is a clone of Paco Rabbane's 1 Million Lucky, and this is just a beautiful summery pineapple style of fragrance with a little bit of added character to it. It has some bergamot, black pepper, and this fresh, juicy, fresh cut style of pineapple. The bergamot just kind of elevates that black pepper pineapple combination, just kind of elevating the citrus, elevating that black pepper spice. A little bit of a nose tickle that's in there, but you get that fresh cut style of pineapple that's in this, and it sits on a really nice base of some light, airy, sort of spicy cedarwood and a nice kind of creamy vanilla in the base. Beautiful scent accord on this. If you're into those pineapple style of fragrances with a little added character with those wood notes, that vanilla and that added spice, you're definitely going to enjoy this one. Performance on this is pretty good. I get about 7 hours of longevity off my skin, and it does project fairly well for the first hour and a half before it does settle back in. Definitely worth checking out if you're into that Paco Rabanne 1 Million Lucky scent DNA. This is something you want to check out. That's Lattafa Pride's Ishq Shayuk Silver. All right, next up, going to the house of Paris Corner with Paris Corner's Amir, a Vibrant Vetiver Delight. Now this fragrance is a clone of Bal d'Afrique, or a twist of Bal d'Afrique, and probably one of my new favorite summer pickups recently. Absolutely love this fragrance. In the opening, you get these beautiful medley of these citruses, some lemon, tajit, some orange that's mixed in there. A little bit of black currant. It's got this lively, energetic, vibrant style of citrus with a little bit of sweet herbaceousness mixed in there, a touch of some green spice, and this really unique take on some vetiver and some Virginia cedar that's in there. So the vetiver isn't this dirty, earthy style of vetiver that you're typically used to when you get vetiver fragrances. A little bit softer, a little bit almost kind of creamy style of woods that are in there. Nice, light, airy style of woods that come through with this, and it just blends really nice with those citruses, some florals in the mid, and just this pop of sweetness that's in there. Just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance that will give you a reminder of that Bal d'Afrique style of scent DNA with just a little bit of a twist. Performance on this is great. I get 8+ hours of longevity, and it's a moderate projector for about an hour and a half, 2 hours before it does settle back in. Just an absolute banger for the summer. Definitely worth checking out. That's Paris Corner's Vibrant Vetiver Delight. All right, next up, staying with the house of Paris Corner, and it's Paris Corner's Killer Oud Cabana. Now this fragrance is a clone of Amouage Beach Hut Man, and this is just a beautiful green style of summer fragrance. Has a really unique mix of some olibanum, some moss, some ivory, vetiver, wood, some mint that's mixed in there as well, along with a little bit of orange blossom as well. Has a really nice kind of fresh, earthy, rooty style of green that's in there. Has a little bit of some balsamic sweetness, a little bit of this vetiver that pokes through, giving this a grassy sort of feel. But the rooty green feel that comes through with this, it's like walking past a forest in the really high heat of the summer after it's been raining all night. So it has this really nice, fresh green style to it. A little bit of spice that's mixed in there as well. Just a overall beautiful, bright green style of fragrance that is absolutely perfect for the summertime. Performance on this is average. I get about 5-6 hours of longevity, and it does project moderately for an hour and a half before it does settle back in. If you're into those kind of more mature, masculine, bright green styles of fragrances that have a little bit more of that earthiness to it, you're definitely going to want to check this one out. That's Paris Corner's Killer Oud Cabana. All right, next up, going to the House of Hadlage with Hadlage Chiaka Blue. Now this is more of a twist or a hybrid clone of two fragrances. It's got a little bit of Bleu de Chanel in there, and it's got a little touch of Invictus in there. So it's got that Bleu de Chanel style of aromatic, fresh, clean, shower jelly vibes going on to it, but with just a little bit of added touch of some bubblegummy sweetness to this, giving it a little bit more of a fun, playful vibe. Yeah, just a beautiful aromatic style of opening, has that cleanness to it, that shower jelly, fresh out the shower sort of feel to it, but it does have that pop of that Invictus style of bubblegummy sweetness to it. That just makes this a really nice mass appeal, crowd pleasing style of blue fragrance that is not too sweet like Invictus is for some people, and it's a little bit more fun than the Bleu de Chanel can be. So absolutely a great scent profile on this. Performance on this about 6-7 hours of longevity off my skin, and it does project pretty good for the first hour and a half, 2 hours before it does settle back in. If you're looking for a nice summery blue style of fragrance with a little bit of added fun from that sweetness, you definitely want to check this one out. That's Hadlage Chiaka Blue. All right, next up, we're going to the House of Louis Cardin, and it's Louis Cardin's Credible Homme. Now this is a clone of Creed's Silver Mountain Water, and this is a great interpretation of that scent DNA. Has that typical kind of citrus at the top, bergamot, some neroli that's in there, a little bit of lemon. Has a touch of green that works in there as well, but it has those signature style of florals, a little bit of rosiness that's in there, but it has this really nice touch of some orris that's in there. So it gives this one a little bit more of a powdery style of feel than I'm used to with other Creed Silver Mountain Water clones like Armaf Sillage, for example. This one has got a little bit more of that powdery vibe to it, but it still has that kind of musky, woody dry down with those florals and those bright, sharp styles of citruses. Great interpretation of Creed's Silver Mountain Water, and I do get a good performance off of this. I get about 8 hours of longevity off my skin, and this does project really well for the first 2-3 hours. This does push off fairly hard before it does settle back in, especially in the hot summer heat. This just absolutely radiates off my skin. Beautiful scent profile on this. If you're into the Creed Silver Mountain Water style of DNA, this is something you might want to check out. That's Louis Cardin's Credible Homme. All right, next up, going to the House of Armaf with Armaf's El Cielo. Now this fragrance is mostly Invictus Aqua, but it does have a little hint of Invictus as well. But through and through, this is just a nice, sweet, bubblegummy style of fragrance, but it has some nice watery accords to this. Opens with a really nice melon, apple, some citruses in it. So it's a very sweet style of fragrance, but it has this nice wateriness to it, a lightness to those fruit accords, not coming across too sugary sweet. Yeah, that melon accord comes through. Absolutely a beautiful style of melon that's mixing with that apple. You do get a bit of clean lavender that's in there, so this gives it a real nice freshness that comes with it as well. Again, adding to that kind of light scent accord that's in there. And a little bit of vanilla, musk, some amber, a little bit of some woods that are in the base once you get to the dry down. But through and through, this is just a nice, fresh, sweet, summery style of watery, aquatic style of Invictus Aqua that is absolutely beautiful. Performance on this about 6-8 hours worth of longevity, and it does project fairly well for the first 2 hours before it does settle back in. If you're into that Invictus Aqua, Invictus style of scent DNA, a little bit on the watery side, a little bit lighter and not quite as obnoxiously sweet, this might be something you want to check out. That's Armaf's El Cielo. All right, next up, going to the House of Al Haramain with Al Haramain's Étoiles Silver. Now this is a clone of Creed's Green Irish Tweed, and it's a great interpretation of that scent DNA. Has that beautiful opening to it with some nice aromatics, clary sage, lavender, some geranium, as well as some bergamot and some nice added watery notes to it. There's also a green apple in this, gives it a little bit of a sweetness, but this really has that kind of fresh, clean laundry sort of feel. You really get that really nice aromatic, clean lavender that comes through, but it has this added sort of aquatic, watery sort of vibe going on to it. A little less grassy than I find other Green Irish Tweed clones that are out there. This is a little less of that. It's a little bit more of this kind of watery, aquatic feel to it. It has a really nice powderiness to it in the dry down, but through and through, it's that fresh, clean laundry, really brisk, clean, aromatic style of fragrance that is undeniably Creed's Green Irish Tweed, and I absolutely love this one. Performance on this is pretty good. I get about 7 hours of longevity, and it does push off fairly good for an hour and a half before it does settle back in. If you're into that clean, fresh laundry sort of feel, you definitely want to check this one out. That's Al Haramain's Étoiles Silver. All right, next up, going back to the House of Armaf with Armaf's Club de Nuit Milestone. Now this fragrance is a clone of Creed's Millésime Imperial, and this is just a beautiful summery style of fragrance. Opens with this really nice watery, fruity, salted fruity style of vibe that's going on to it, like a salted watermelon with some really nice kind of musky woods that's worked in there, some added florals, giving it just that floral touch, a little bit of softness that works its way through, but through and through this has a really nice kind of watery, salted fruit accord going to it. Again, with those musky woods that works in there. Absolutely a beautiful unisex style of fragrance that I wear this all the time during the summer because it just has that summery feel to it. Performance on this is pretty good, 6-8 hours worth of longevity, and it does project off fairly well for an hour and a half, 2 hours before it does settle back in. Just if you're looking for that Millésime Imperial style of DNA, this is something you definitely want to check out. That's Armaf's Clip de Nuit Milestone. All right, last but certainly not least, going back to the House of Paris corner, with Paris Corner's Kahila Platinum. Now this fragrance is a clone of Paul Gaultier's Le Beau, and this is a beautiful tropical sweet style of summery fragrance. Bergamot, coconut, and tonka. Just an absolutely beautiful combination of that coconut and that tonka. The bergamot is there, adding a little bit of like citrus pop, some tart that's in there, but it does sit way behind. You don't pick that up too much. What you really get is that nice tropical coconut vibe, really creamy style of tonka that works its way through. In the dry down, that tonka really pushes forward. Very sweet, vanillic style of fragrance, but it has that added tropical vibe going on to it from that coconut, and it's just absolutely a beautiful scent profile of that Paul Gaultier's Le Beau. Performance on this is pretty good. I get about 8 hours worth of longevity off this, and it's a mild to moderate projector for about an hour and a half, 2 hours before it does settle back in. But if you're looking for that sweet, creamy, tropical sort of vibe going on to it with that coconut, that tonka bean, this is definitely something you want to check out. That's Paris Corner's Kahila Platinum. All right, so there you have it. That's 10 Middle Eastern clone fragrances for the summertime, and I want to hear from you guys. What are some of your favorite summertime clones from some Middle Eastern houses? Comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love getting your different recommendations, your hidden gems, all your different tastes and scent profiles. I appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see y'all next time.